man forcefully struck a match and then used it to burn through a rope. After that, he pulled a needle out of a cushion and used a small hole in the wall to bend it. Finally, tie the rope to the end of the hook. A rock climbing tool is now complete. The reason the man did this was all for a piece of expired cheese high up, but the next second, he discovered a spider nearby. However, in order to avoid starving to death, the man had no choice but to take the risk. Next, he used the hook to catch onto a drawer, then grabbed the rope and climbed up. After steadying himself, he once again tossed the hook upwards. After repeating this process several times, the man finally climbed to the top of the cabinet. But at this point, he discovered that there was still a huge gap ahead. Seeing that there was no way to pass on either side, he could only walk onto a wooden board stuck with paint to see if he could jump to the other side. But just as he was about to jump over, the other end of the board suddenly lifted up. At this critical moment, Jack resolutely jumped towards the other shore, ultimately narrowly escaping disaster. Seeing the cheese right in front of him, Jack, who had been hungry for 3 days, immediately ran over and picked up a piece from the ground and started eating. He never imagined that after shrinking, even getting some food would become so difficult. Actually, 3 months ago, he was still the size of a normal person. That day, when he went out to sea for fun, a mysterious white fog suddenly appeared in front of him. Before he could react, the white fog drifted past him. At the time, the man didn't think much of it. But after returning home, he discovered that his body was shrinking day by day. Even doctors couldn't explain this strange phenomenon and could only send him to a research institute. Although it was discovered that his DNA was recombining, scientists couldn't find a way to cure him. So a month later, the man had shrunk to the size of a baby. In order not to burden his wife, Jack took the initiative to propose a divorce, but his wife firmly believed that he would return to normal. Unexpectedly, another month passed, and the man had shrunk to the size of a matchstick. In order to make it convenient for him to live, his wife moved him into a dollhouse. But on this day, she went out and forgot to close the door, and a cat snuck in, following the scent to the door of the dollhouse. The man suddenly heard a sound outside the house, so he opened the front door to check, only to discover a huge cat face, scaring Jack into quickly closing the door. However, he was still scratched by the cat from behind. Seeing that the dollhouse was about to be torn apart by the cat, the man hurriedly ran out and hid behind the basement door. Just as he wanted to quietly push the door closed, he was discovered by the cat, so the kitten stuck its paw in. The man desperately tried to close the door, but was finally pushed down the stairs by the cat. Fortunately, he happened to fall into a laundry basket. When the wife came back, she discovered that her husband in the dollhouse was gone. She hurriedly searched everywhere and found a bloody pant leg on the ground. Turning around, she saw the cat licking its mouth, so she thought her husband had been eaten by the cat and even started crying in heartbreak. Little did she know, the man wasn't dead. But when he climbed out of the box, he saw an even more desperate scene.